Hello everybody, I am Tiffany and today I am bringing you another movie review. This once again is a movie that you guys recommended to me, so keep those recommendations coming. It's really great. This film I have actually seen twice now. I had watched it a while ago to do a review on it, so I decided to go ahead and rewatch it and then finally do a movie review. The movie I'm talking about is Why Him? Why him? Why him? Why him? This movie came out back in 2016. It didn't necessarily get the best reviews from critics and everything, and that's what stopped me from seeing it in theaters to begin with, because I couldn't tell based on the reviews and everything if I was going to like it or not. But I finally gave it a chance, and let me tell you, I really enjoyed this movie. It has such a great cast. It stars Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad, James Franco, and also Zoe Deutch, who is in Before I Fall that came out a little while ago. She was in the new Zombieland movie that came out more recently. For those of you who want statistics, this movie did get a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb, and for me, I think that's low. I personally think it should stay within the sixes. I would have given it a 6.8, 6.9, and a 6.8, 6.9 is pretty good for a comedy on IMDb. This one was just really enjoyable to me. It is rated R, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend you watch it with the family. It's not the most inappropriate movie in the world. I think the biggest reason why it has that rating is how much cursing they do in it. The inappropriateness of certain scenes is mild compared to other movies nowadays, but I still don't think necessarily this is the best movie to watch with your little kids. But if you do need a movie that is on the shorter end of the spectrum and can lift your spirits up a good amount, this is definitely a good movie for that. I laughed pretty much throughout this entire thing. It was really great. For those of you who don't know what this movie is about, it follows Bryan Cranston's character Ned Fleming and his wife Barb Fleming, who end up going to visit their daughter, who is actually attending Stanford. And they end up going there for the holidays to meet her new boyfriend, who actually is this multi-millionaire Silicon Valley dude, even though he doesn't seem like it. The trip kind of goes in many different directions and it's just not quite what they expected. It definitely is a fun movie, like I said. Definitely go check it out. That's as much as I'm going to tell you description-wise. You just need to watch it. It's super fun. That is really all I can tell you without spoiling you, so go and check out this movie yourself. Get all the feels, all the good vibes, and then come back here and we can discuss the spoilery parts together. See you later, non-spoilery people. Goodbye! Why Him? This movie was a surprise for me. I went into it not with super high expectations, which I think is kind of a good thing. I think with comedies, it's better to go in with lower expectations, because then when you start the movie and it ends up being really funny, I think it makes it even better because it catches you off guard. I haven't seen a super solid comedy movie in a good little while that I came out of it thinking that was really good from beginning to end. I've seen mixtures where they're thriller comedy or something like that, but not a pure straight up comedy movie. But I think going in with those lower expectations did help me some. Bryan Cranston did such a fantastic job throughout this. He played more the straight man, but his character was just really great, and it was the first time in a long while I had seen him in something truly comedic. He had done Malcolm in the Middle beforehand, but after that was Breaking Bad, and then the movie Trumbo, I think. But he hadn't done comedy, and he was so great. I think one of my favorite scenes with him is the scene where he's sitting on the toilet and he doesn't have any toilet paper and he's trying to figure out how it works, and then Keegan-Michael Key, his character, had to come in and fix it. That part just cracked me up. Keegan-Michael Key, oh my gosh, he was so hilarious in this film. He cracked me up the most out of every single person on this. He's just great. He's like this super polite guy, and he just helps Laird with everything, and he just catches you off guard so much. Gustav's his name. One of my favorite scenes again is when Laird is talking with Ned in the woods, like they're walking, and first of all, you just see all of these crazy animals, which is insane. There's a llama, there's chickens. It's a farm. It's a giant farm. All of a sudden, Gustav just comes running out of the woods and just tackles Laird, and Laird's just saying to Ned, "Stand back, don't worry, it's okay." He constantly does this throughout the movie. There's a whole scene where they do parkour over all of the stuff, and Ned's just watching out of the window, and then Laird just falls. Oh my god. Laird's whole world is insane. The place where he lives, the business he's in, he's just crazy and a little bit off the walls, but at the end of the day has a good heart. It's really funny because you expect everybody else that works for him to kind of be like that. And Gustav is the one slapping him and saying, "You are stupid. You do not do that. You do not call him dad." He's reasonable, even though Gustav doesn't seem the type to be reasonable, which just makes it that much more hilarious. All of them did a great job. The tattoo of the family at the beginning, that was great. That whole scene in the tent where they introduced Justine and it's Kaylee Cuoco's voice, oh, that was just so great. I love that scene. And Kaylee Cuoco did a great job as Justine. Justine was hilarious throughout it as well. It is Siri and Alexa to the next level in a scary fashion where all of a sudden they can interact with you like a normal human being. Ned's wife, Barb, also just absolutely hilarious. Her best scene was definitely when she got high. I love that line in there where, I don't know the line verbatim, but she's talking to Ned and she's saying that I think this one dude had some weed, but I felt so bad. He had chronic pain. So bad for his age. And I just started laughing really hard because she's just clueless. She was so funny throughout this, and I really liked the contrast between her and Ned. You had Ned, who was very skeptical of Laird and really wanting to just drive them apart, in all honesty. That seemed his main goal there. And you have Barb, who also starts out skeptical but then really does care about what her daughter wants more than anything. Laird grows on her, which is really, really nice. I also liked Scotty and his whole character. I liked his development throughout. He's this very straightforward kid, wants to take over his dad's industry and just wants to prove to his family that he has really great ideas. And I really like how his story came full circle throughout this. I will say it was a little bit rushed a tiny bit, just the whole transition with him being able to finally get a seat at the table at the end, but I think overall it was still really, really sweet and kind-hearted. And that's the thing about this movie more than anything else, is it really emphasizes the value of family. A big thing they make very clear at the beginning is how close this family is. They're very tight-knit. She was daddy's girl. And the big conundrum throughout this whole thing is that now she has this own life with her boyfriend and her dad doesn't know everything about it, and that's hard for him to handle. At the same time, even though Ned sort of becomes the bad guy throughout the film and is really the only one trying to bring Laird down, even though Laird's actually a genuinely good guy, they also do a really great job with demonstrating how much family is important. A big thing they do at the end is Laird, once they fight and everything like that, Laird doesn't just keep her to himself, he flies her back home and basically has them make up and plans to propose to her there. I think that is really great, is that even through everything, at the end of the day, you're all family. I don't completely blame Ned, though, for not liking Laird. The fact that Laird convinced her to drop out of Stanford, especially when she's a senior and she's right about to graduate, I understand quite normally why Ned would be upset about that. And I am glad that she decides to stay for college at the end of this movie. But they definitely played that up as a big thing, is showing that dilemma that a lot of people, I think, have about school in general. Maybe wanting to drop out, but then there's pressure from the parents, but also trying to figure out what you want. And I think that's mainly what Zoe Deutsch's character, Stephanie Fleming's character, is really all about. That's her whole arc. She went to Stanford. She's very driven. That's never discounted in any way throughout the film. You never feel throughout it that she's lazy. But one thing she's trying to figure out is what she wants for herself. Her going to Stanford and getting this degree and being really successful on something is her dad's dream in a way for her to be successful. Laird, on the other hand, she loves Laird, and she also loves the idea of being able to work for him and help people. That's something I think she always wanted to do. I think they emphasized that at the beginning. That's what her degree's about in some regard. And she makes the decision behind her father's back to drop out of school right before she's about to graduate. But the reason that I liked this whole turnaround at the end, where she decides that in fact she is going to stay in college, is because that's her figuring out what she wants for her. At the end she says, I'm not doing it for you, Dad. I'm not doing it for you, Laird. I'm doing it for me. And I think that's what's most important. At the end of the day, through love, through family, through everything, you have to figure out what you want. And I think why I really liked this movie is it does such a good balance of all of these different philosophies in a way. I think the writing is super great. I don't know how much of it was improv. The most cringeworthy scene for me though was when Ned is trying to get something on Laird and tries to break into his computer, and then Laird and Stephanie come into the room and they start making out and going further. Ned's under the table and then the table starts to lift. Oh my god. This movie, it's just hilarious. Do I believe there were parts of it that maybe were rushed? Yes, the ending kind of was a little bit, but it still did such a great job. It was chaotic, but really great. When Kiss came, oh my god, and all the parents started freaking out, fabulous. fabulous. And then Laird is trying to propose and the doves go off and he's telling Gustav no, and Gustav's like, okay, go. Oh my gosh. And I am actually glad she said no too. That was such a sweet moment where he's saying, man, I was really looking forward to being your son-in-law. And she just looks at him and goes, I'm not breaking up with you. You're not? No. Oh, thank goodness. That's the thing about Laird's character. He's such a kind-hearted person in this movie, which is really great. He's chill, but he loves Stephanie and wants the best for her at the end of the day. I just overall really liked this movie. The only little flaw that I kind of had with it was maybe the brother, that I felt like his character didn't get completely rounded out enough. It was this very quick transition from this really preppy teen boy who couldn't do anything wrong to cursing galore and creating new ones. And then talking to Laird about the fact that he wants to be at the table, and then finally being able to get that at the end with Ned. I felt like there should have been maybe one more conversation in there where you see that transition. Maybe Ned tells him no and then finally is like, you know what, you deserve a seat at the table. And I do like how they have Ned come around at the end and he's the one that helps Laird with the proposal and just accepts in a way and says, you really love her and I'm gonna help you with this. And that's really great. Unity, guys. That is really all I have to say about this movie. Thank you so much for joining me. I will have another movie review for you up soon. Trust, I got a lot lined up. If you have any other book, movie, or TV recommendations, please leave them in the comments below. I write them down and make sure to go check them out and do a review on them for you. If you want updates on anything, please go to tiffanybookandmovies.blogspot.com. That gives you updates on whether new videos are up or going to be posted, if there's anything new development-wise going on. And then it also keeps you updated on some acting stuff. I am an actress, so I try and keep stuff updated on there as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an awesome day, evening, afternoon, whatever time of the day you're watching this, and don't forget to be awesome. All right, goodbye!